sexuality in general,
Mm-hmm.
where does it fit into your treatment mechanisms?
Yes.
I'll let you go for it. In terms of, because we've covered every single topic,
Yeah.
I think we've covered gut health, dopamine, all that. Um, maybe I can twist the question a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and begin by speaking about hookup culture
Mm-hmm.
and one night stands, etc.
Yeah.
What has your experience as a doctor taught you?
Mm-hmm.
And generally, what is the role of sexuality when you combine it with monogamy?
So I often ask the question about sex with my patients, and they're, again, surprised when I ask them because it's a big part of our physical, emotional, mental health. Not only that, we're seeing an epidemic of loneliness, especially in the US. The risk factor for heart disease, yes, bad diet, but loneliness is just as bad of a risk factor for heart disease. No one talks about it, right? It's because it's harder to fix, much easier for me to give a pill. So when you talk about sexual health, relationships, it's a big component of who you are and how much of your health depends on it. And sex can, again, that thin line you have to walk. It can be a great way to connect with your partner, optimize your physical, mental, emotional health. But when we're struggling with loneliness, when we're struggling with mental health issues or sometimes not feeling good enough, self-doubt, we end up with a path of the hookup culture. Gives us that quick dopamine hit, makes us feel good about ourselves, then we feel terrible. Then we'll seek that high again. So the hookup culture often relates to feeling that sense of loneliness, not feeling good enough, and seeking that validation externally. So I always ask the question because I want to know if sex is something that's adding to your health or is it taking away from your health? Because it can do both.
I mean, but if someone's in a monogamous relationship, is there any way it'll take away from your health?
Not necessarily, unless you're overdoing it to a point where it becomes an addiction. So in Ayurveda, in yoga, they say sex, if you overdo it, it can deplete your sattva. So there's this fine balance where right amount of sex is actually very good for your physical, emotional, spiritual health. But when you overdo it, it can really deplete your sattva. It can make you more anxious, cause insomnia, cause health issues. So everything in moderation, in balance. Because in relationships, another question to ask is, are you using sex as a substitute to cover up some of the imbalance in the relationship itself? That often happens, right? We use sex as a way to say everything's okay. We're going to ignore the bigger picture in the relationship. So you have to ask the question, how am I using sex in my life? Is it to nurture a relationship, better my health, or am I using it as a shortcut, as an addiction, or as a quick hit of dopamine?
What's the guideline given in Ayurveda? I think it's been brought up on the show.
Yeah.
And someone had mentioned that winter every day, but summer once a week. That's something that's flashing, and I might be wrong. You're the expert.
Yeah, it depends on you and how much energy you have. So if I'm not feeling well overall, my energy level is already low, and if I have sex every single day, it's going to deplete me even more. But if I'm feeling balanced, healthy, then sex every day, every other day might be okay for you. So I think you have to gauge how much energy you have to dedicate to sex, and that's going to be the right amount. The way you know it's unhealthy is how you feel the next day. If you feel depleted, if you're not able to sleep well, if you need that extra cup of tea or coffee to get through the day, you know you overdid it. So balance, again, is the key here.